Nick came in with probably the worst skin I've ever seen anybody have before. He had a very, very severe mange infection, and then he got secondary infections of bacteria and fungus all over his body, and it caused him to have really bad open sores all over, and he actually got maggots in those wounds. So there's a species of fly that lays eggs on open wounds, and then the maggots will eat a live animal. So he was in very serious risk of dying from this infection. So we started off by regular baths. Just twice a week he would get a medicated bath for both the bacterial and fungal infections as well as the mites. Then he was getting ivermectin injections to kill the mites and regular bandaging to prevent more maggot wounds from forming, using antiseptics to clean the wounds and just basically try and help him heal and let his body take care of the infection. At first, I thought he wasn't going to be that friendly. He wasn't really the kind of dog that would just rush right up to you and wag his tail, and he didn't seem to really care about what was happening around him. But then we realized as his skin started to improve, his personality started to come through. And it turns out that it was just because he was sick, and he's actually an extremely friendly dog. He's got a really funny, kind of quirky personality. He doesn't wag his tail a whole lot, but you can tell he's really craving affection, and he came up to us and he started playing with the other animals, not just dogs, but also the horse and sheep, and we really started to get to see his true personality come out with time.
He won't be able to eat or anything,
No. We can try.
See, this is broken from here. Can you see this?
Oh my god.
It hurts when you open his mouth.
Yeah, it's painful, yeah.
The people who brought him here said that someone slammed a door in his face, so that kind of broke his jaw. So, yeah. Yesterday they did a couple of x-rays, and they found out that his jaw is completely broken from the right side.
Yeah.
And yeah, so after the x-rays they did a surgery where they wired the jaw together shut, and yeah, so now it's going to take about 2 to 3 weeks for it to completely heal. Still not able to completely close his jaw, but he's managing.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's on any painkillers, so he doesn't cry as much. So I think his pain is a lot better now. It is very, very easy to get attached to animals, especially when you have really small animals come in, like really sick and really small animals, and you have to take a lot of extra care. We had 2 puppies which were brought in like a little cardboard box, and both of them had rickets, so they couldn't walk, and their bones were really weak. So, and they were too young to be in the animal area alone, so Joe asked me to take them in my room. So I started taking care of these 2 puppies. One of them she recovered really well, but the other one was still quite weak, so she stayed with me a little longer. I did spoil her a lot. At the end, she would cry every time she was away from me and stuff. But yeah, so we both had a really tight bond, and yeah, but she wasn't keeping too well. Just because she's so weak and her immune system is so weak, so she developed mange, and now she has this temper. Yeah. The worst thing definitely is any animal dying. That is definitely the worst. Although with Russ, I mean, she was really weak and I did kind of see it coming, but I was not happy that it had to happen. it helps knowing that they're not in pain anymore.
We knew that we didn't want to release Nick again because oftentimes with cases like his, they don't stay healed. So we would release him and then he would go right back to the same place where he had a terrible diet and nobody looking after him and he had sensitive skin. So we knew that he would end up right in the same situation. So we were desperately looking for a home for him. We had very limited space. So he was taking up a slot for another dog, and we generally as a policy don't keep healthy dogs if they can survive on the road. So I was desperately emailing people, trying to find someone who could take this dog on, and our friend from International Street Dog Foundation in Chicago offered to take him and one other dog to her rescue. So then began the long process of fundraising for that and getting him there. But luckily, we did raise the funds for it, and thanks to a lot of people from all around the world, we raised the money for it. And then we put him on a flight and he went to Chicago. Which was lucky for Nick because within 48 hours he found a home. So his true personality really shined through there too, and a couple that came in to adopt a dog totally fell in love with him from minute one.
Here. Good boy. Good boy. Say hi to everybody at Peepal Farm. Whoa. Say hi.
Once the dog is under sedation, we're going to try and bring it forward away from the eyes, put cotton over the eyes so that the pus doesn't leak into the eyes. I don't think he can breathe very well, Bobby, so that's why he's freaking out. So let's get this in.